Hey everyone, Tech May here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of, I already forgot what I was calling my thing. Tooling around with Bearded CB. Took me a second. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain. I'm a little mad. The weekend's almost over, but besides that, it's fine.
That's good.
What are you drinking? Anything good?
Bell's Porter. There we go.
Oh, they got a good IPA that I like.
Yep.
Is it Two Hearted?
Two Hearted Ale. Yep. And then they especially they'll do the double Two Hearted. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's real good.
I like both of those. So let's get into this. How old were you when you knew you wanted to be a mechanic or in the field, technicians?
Turning wrenches more often. Let me see. I was up in Washington, so I'd have been around 25-ish when I started going into machining and stuff like that. And wound up going maintenance side for an aircraft carrier, and so that was always real fun.
So you're Bearded CB. You were in the Navy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you do a tech job in the Navy, or did you do something different?
I did a few jobs. The first one, I did cryptology for several years. Then I went into the aviation side for a couple years. Then I went into the Seabees as a mechanic.
Okay. And a mechanic and the Seabees, what exactly did you do?
Well, at that point was reserve side once I got done with the tech school for the Navy, but it was all the ground equipment, so graders, dozers, the deuce and a halves, so diesel and engineering equipment mechanic.
Okay. So besides the Navy, did you go to any tech school?
I did go to Wyotech in 2011 as well, because I was that point in time in the reserves. I was a millwright mechanic at a steel plant.
Okay.
And things were kind of hard back then, so diesel was still going strong. And even though I had the military side of things, people weren't hiring unless you had like a year of, tech school or, 3 or 4 years equivalency doing the job. So
yeah. So was your tech school in automotive, or was it in something different?
Diesel.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So are you Ase certified or have any certifications like that?
Ase certifications, no. When I worked for Penske, they had their own program at the time that was similar to, and I did a couple qualifications through them that were basically the same tests. But outside of that, as far as like ASE stuff goes, nope. In the middle of getting CSA certified for CNG tank inspector. I've got to get my test lined up for that. So
okay. So with what you do now, is that like all you need to be certified in? You don't necessarily need ASEs.
Since I've worked for a private fleet, they're just working on getting us mechanics rolled through certain things. So it'd be more so dealer specific stuff, courses like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have a favorite tool?
Ooh, ratchets in particular, for whatever reason.
Just the sound. It's like ASMR. I could sit and ratchet a ratchet all day long.
Yep. What is that? The FL72, which is that stubby snap-on. It's the 3/8 on a 1/4-inch body with the flex head, and I got one of those the locking flex head 1/4 inches that I converted over to that. So it's probably that little guy.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like ratchets, and I do too. And there's so many different varieties. And when somebody says a ratchet, you might think one thing, I think completely different. But man, I could just sit there and ratchet something all day long and not get tired of that sound.
Yep. So no, the ratchet, you got your fiance's a pretty good ratchet. I've been using that same ratchet for probably 4 years now. I still use that every once in a while.
Yeah, so I actually bought that same ratchet too for myself. 6 months ago, seven. No, it's probably a little bit longer than that. Sometime early in the year, and I loved it. And I just so happened to buy that kit that Capri has, so it came with it, and I didn't even realize because I mainly got it for the wrenches and the oil pan because we don't have one. So, but yeah, she really likes it. She found a ratchet on the sidewalk once and was like, "Oh, this is a socket wrench." So now I always make fun of her for that. But yeah, so I do love that ratchet, and I love I have it's a 3/8. I don't know the part number on it. Mac ratchet. I think it's 18 inches. It's the one that I snapped doing an alignment, and I still have yet to get it replaced because it's been that long.
Yeah, that was almost a year ago now, wasn't it? Or roundabouts, close to, or last fall, something like that. I remember you posted it.
It's in the beginning of the year. So it was supposed to get shipped to me before I left the dealership, and I left the dealership in March. So it's been what? I don't even know. 6 months since that happened.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, it's still like, I don't even know if it's come in yet. So I've had a lot of problems with like things I've ordered from tool trucks because where I'm at now, I'm like on the road, so I don't get tool trucks. But I still talk to every single one of my tool truck dealers that I had at the dealership. Well, one of them lives right behind me. And then the other two, just if I need something, they'll set it aside and we'll kind of meet up. But I've ordered some things from Snap-on too, and they just, I ordered a heat gun because I do a lot of heat shrinking, and I ordered that in the beginning of May, and it still has yet to come in.
Yeah, I know some of their stuff's been pretty hard to get. Some like their normal everyday use stuff. I see that all the time on the tool truck. It'll be there, you know, your regular sockets for the most part.
Yeah,
will be there. The guy I work with, took him almost 3 weeks to get it was a medium, the half deep socket, get that really? Warrantied out. So yeah, so some of the stuff's hit and miss. So
yeah, and I think that's everywhere right now. Not just the big tool companies. It's just so happened to what I'm getting hit with because I ended up having to go to Harbor Freight to get a cheap one, but that's okay. I can use it around the house. It hasn't broken me yet, so. But I also haven't used it in a couple months because I haven't really been working. What'd you do to your hand?
That was it was an air hose hanger between the tandems on a trailer.
Okay.
And it had a hanger on it that was not even hooked to anything, and it just had one hose going through it instead of, you know, the two like it's supposed to anyways. So I went to remove it, and normally since it's like a U-bolt going through the two pieces of plastic to like so you can hang it from a spring, keep it from rubbing. They'll normally, when they're corroded like this one was, they'll break right at the nut at the base because they usually corrode in the plastic real bad. And this was the one instance where 99 times out of 100 they'll break at the nut, and then you just pry it apart. This one broke at where the loop came through at the top and came through, just missed my other finger, and I got about a 1-inch gash followed by a 3/4 inch gash coming down. So and it took a hunk of skin right below the knuckle too. Yikes. Took that, and that wound up somewhere.
So did you just get stitches then, or? Yeah,
I got 5 stitches overall. So that was hell of a way to, no surgery, luckily. Hell of a way to start the weekend.
Yeah. Why couldn't you have done that on a Monday?
Yeah.
There's a guy, so I'm on light duty right now. Hopefully this is my last week. It's killing me. But we have another guy that's on light duty right now, and he was changing a drive unit out or something on an RC, I think, and he put it on the back of the forklift, and he jacked the forklift up, and it fell off and hit his hand going down, or his finger going down. Ended up breaking his finger almost like in half.
Ooh.
Oh. He was like trying to show me a picture. I'm like, nope. His adrenaline was pumping so bad because I was like, did you cry? I would have cried. And he was like, no, I saw it and I went to go put like a paper towel around it, and then I saw my bone kind of move, and I was like, I would have thrown up. So
yep.
Working threes are not good.
Yeah, this one was bad enough because typically I'd watch stitches because I've had stitches and other places across my nose and my pinky at one point and whatnot. This one was definitely bad enough I didn't even care to watch.
Yeah.
It was nasty.
I get so queasy about those things, and I can't. Luckily, I've never been like super injured like that. Actually, I don't think I've ever had stitches.
Yep.
Minus like wisdom teeth, which is in my mouth. I've never had stitches, and knock on some wood, because I think I would pass out if I saw. Well, I guess just because you need stitches doesn't mean you're bleeding that bad. But if I was ever like gushing blood like that, I'd be out. I'd be out cold. You have to call an ambulance for me.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It bled for a bit, and then it stopped bleeding because of how everything was mangled.
Yeah.
For the most part. So
what has been your worst workplace injury? I don't know if I want to know this, but I kind of do.
At the steel plant, just we had the side loading forklifts. They were like 14 feet long.
Okay.
I was replacing a windshield on one of the cab one time, and then I stepped off, and my heel caught the fork on the ground just right, and totally twisted the living crap out of my ankle. 2 days before I went on vacation for a week out to Colorado.
Oh, if you're anything like me, I'd go to Colorado to hike and drink beer because they got a lot of craft breweries out there.
Yep. Yeah, it was Fort Collins, and I was supposed to meet up with another guy out there to do some rock climbing, and that wasn't happening.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate. I'm pretty lucky I've never gotten hurt at work. Not bad enough that I, cuts and bruises here and there, but yeah, that's just comes with the job, I guess, really, any job. So do you have a favorite job that you like to do?
I'd have to say doing the overheads on the CNGs, because it's one job when I'm doing that, really nobody bothers me, and I could just rock out to my music for a couple hours and knock those out and on to the next project after that.
So is that a job? I'm not familiar. Is that a job that others don't necessarily like to do, so they just kind of leave you alone so you'll do it, or?
Well, we kind of shorthanded in the shop anyway, so like my boss, he'll usually be working on a trailer, then the wash guy, if he's working on a trailer, is helping him do the tires and stuff like that on trailers, sweeping that stuff out. So I'll just be left to my own devices on working on the truck. So I just zone out and do that.
That's not bad. It always makes a job go 10 times longer when you get interrupted every time you do something. So then you got to go, did I do that? Let's go back and retry. I know that one all too well. So do you have a least favorite job then?
Working on trailers.
Hey, yeah, no.
Yeah, especially my company over the past 2 years expanded, and they bought several other companies after a merger ordeal.
Okay.
And so we're getting all this, like all these other trailers and trucks and stuff, siphoning through all the other shops. And you take a look at some of the things that have been done wiring wise to some of these trailers, and you're like, how is this even physically possible? How was the person that did this repair even hired? Was it the trucker that did the repair? Then I could understand it. And then you go through the work history, and nope, it was a different shop somewhere out east, like say New Jersey or Pennsylvania or something. I mean, you use heat shrink butt connectors. You think people would heat shrink those?
No, why would they? Just
especially if it's traveling through the Midwest and the Northeast, where you salt brine and all the other stuff.
Yeah, salt ruins so many things.
Oh yes.
Rust sucks. We always we used to give crap to the people down in Florida because they'd be like, oh, this was cars from the Northwest and it got rusty, and they show a picture of it and it's just a little bit of surface rust and you're like, that's cute. Here I am.
It must be a new car.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's like a week out of the dealership for us.
Yes.
Oh, my dog's loving on my feet right now, and it's kind of weird, but I'm petting his head. Do you have any animals?
Couple cats.
Couple cats.
Yep.
I just got 2 dogs.
Yep. Well, I apartment living, so wish I could have a dog, but yeah, lack of a yard for her to play in. So
yeah, so we had the trouble because when we wanted to move in together, we had the trouble of trying to find a place. So we have a pit bull, Ozzy, and then Willow is a husky lab mix. And so Willow's like 90 pounds and Ozzy's like 60, 65. I don't know, he's kind of chunky. He might be 70 pounds. So not only is he a pit bull, so we had problems with that, but we had problems with her being too big for most places. And so that's what we were just like, you know what, we'll just buy a house. So, but no, unless if you have like a 20-pound dog, it's hard to find places. And I mean, we even lied, which I know you shouldn't do, about him being a pit bull. We told him he was like a terrier mix or something like that. And they're like, no, can't have him. And I'm like, oh. And I didn't realize it was like an insurance thing.
Yeah.
So.
Because, well, dogs are always as good as you raise them, and pit bulls are no different. Like most people, most of the ones I've seen are like just big teddy bears or really playful.
Yes, so. That is him. If I was sitting on the couch, he would be in my lap. He sleeps in my on my pillow. Like I'll turn over and see his like mouth and teeth just like that, and I'm just like, oh my god. That's what I wake up to in the middle of the night. It's the best. Humbubus. So what made you decide to do Instagram and YouTube or social media in general?
Kind of got started off on YouTube for on outdoor side. I have a outdoor channel I do a little bit on every once in a while, and was just doing that for fun. And then down the road, it's like I heard of people taking other people's, content, names and stuff like that. So it's like, well, I'll go ahead and make like an actual, because it's underneath a different Gmail account, an actual BeardedSeaBee82 to the side. And then I wound up using that for stuff on the shop, just for tools and some CNG stuff, probably 6 years ago, because there was no information on that. And that channel's done really well. And then courtesy of Brad's Workbench, he got me onto Instagram, and so I've kind of done that since.
Yeah, I started on Instagram to kind of like, I started it when I was maybe a couple months into the shop. I don't quite remember, but I did it to kind of as a way to journal my progress of how far I've come. And now it's crazy to look back almost 3 years and be like, actually, I don't think I've been Instagram that long, but looking back and be like, oh, that's like simple stuff, and I know that with a breeze now. So
yep, I want to say you started probably not too long after I did, because you started following me, I think, through Dave or somebody like that. On there, he did like a go check you out, and so I did, and it's like, oh, because you were just getting started, and it was like you're working like with a small toolkit in the shop or changing oil, just doing the basic stuff back then, and it's kind of gone on from there.
Yeah,
a lot of exchange of information. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about how you get started. Like I just, I got that job at that shop as an off chance, and then they taught me everything I knew, and then growing from there is just, to me, is crazy. Like I never thought I'd be in the position I am today. Not that I don't even know, but I like it. I'm happy, and I'm grateful for everything and everybody that has like reached out to me. Dave has probably been my #1 supporter since the beginning, and he is just, he's well-rounded, and he reaches out to everybody. So he's a good guy.
He does. Yeah, he's not afraid to spread the word on, hey, check out this person, or they're doing something cool, and he's real big for everybody on that.
Yeah, he's definitely everybody's biggest supporter. Yep. If you had one piece of advice for somebody trying to get into a trade or mechanics or any kind of tech, or somebody that's just kind of new to everything, what would your advice be and why?
Never stop learning. Regardless of how old you might be, even how long you've been doing stuff, always keep an open mind on learning, especially from anybody that's been doing it for any amount of time. They might have a really good way of doing something that you've been doing for a long time that might be faster, better, whatever. And don't be afraid to take that information in and use that to help yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially with how technology is changing. You've got to constantly be learning new things or upgrading things. So
yep, especially on the automotive side. I mean, diesel's relatively, except for some emission stuff, no different than what it's been for the past 75 years, 80 years.
Yeah.
But automotive side, it's like every 6 months, it's like cell phones.
Yeah. Right before I left, a 2021 Cadillac Escalade came in with like the bells and whistles on it. And I'm just like, ooh, I'm glad I'm getting out. Because it was just like, it had like nighttime vision on it. The 360 camera, which isn't 100% new, but it's new to Cadillac, or it was new to Cadillac, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, just more things to go wrong. Just more things to go wrong.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's fancy, but that's why I drive a 97 Ford, is because it's got automatic windows, AC, cruise control, and a CD player.
That's all you need.
Yes, I don't need 37 TCUs or ECUs. ECUs to control everything, electronic steering and all this other fancy jazz stuff. Because when that stuff breaks, that stuff ain't cheap.
Yeah, I have a 2015 RX 350, and it's got that little toggle thing to like control your screen to like select it, and I'm just waiting for it to break. And I don't even want to know how much it's going to cost. I'm sure the part alone is going to be expensive. I don't know if it's serviceable from like itself, or if you have to replace part of the
unit.
Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to that one, especially when my dogs jump to the front. I'm just like, I'd like cover it to make sure.
Yep. Yeah. The electronic stuff is definitely where they try to get you. And then availability of parts the past several months for some of that stuff's been crazy hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When I was at the dealership still, right before COVID happened, GM went on a strike a couple, like maybe 6 months beforehand. So like none of the factories or the warehouses were working. So we had that happen, and then COVID hit. And that was just a struggle.
We've had problems sourcing some engine parts. Everybody has, like, the past several months, just because factories slowed down, minimal manning to, social distance and all the other stuff that goes along with that. And
yeah.
So it's even talking to the dealerships here, it's like if they get a part, it's because it's already ordered for a truck that's down. They can't order, the distributors aren't allowing them to order to have certain parts in stock.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yep.
That is absolutely nuts. It'll be interesting to see how things are in like 6 months, or like in the new year. Like, are they going to get better, or are they going to get worse?
It's a coin toss at this point. It's a coin toss.
Yeah, and hopefully it lands on the right side of that coin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with me.
Not a problem.
You were like the first person to get recommended, and I actually was thinking about you anyway, so it just kind of worked out. Thanks.
Yep, not a problem. Good deal. And hope everything's been going good. Hope you get off your light duty soon. I know you've been working on different types of equipment lately.
Yeah, I work for a forklift company now. Mm-hmm. So anything that they work on, I actually am on like the battery and charger side. They asked me when I first interviewed if I would be willing to try it out. And I was like, as long as it pays the same, I don't really care. And so they did that because the guy who was supposed to be doing it got really, really sick, and he hadn't been there in like a year. Well, right after I got like done training and like on my own, he died. So not a good situation. So I'm in that position for a little bit. And then my zone. So it's like I work out of a branch, and that branch is the Chicago zone, even though it's in Schaumburg, but we service anywhere from like way out west. I think my furthest is Dixon, all the way to like Waukegan, downtown Chicago. And then I think south side is Joliet.
Okay.
Or just after. So Joliet has their own branch. So we service all that. So we're down 3 techs. So until they fill those positions and then find somebody to actually do battery stuff, then I'll go be a truck tech. But I have a job and I'm thankful.
Yep. Yeah, electric forklifts, they're proven. They're really good in the warehouse. I'll say that. But as far as like outdoor stuff, those batteries run really, really heavy. The ones we had at the steel plant were pretty unique. We had a combi lift units was the brand that we used. And the batteries for those were 4,000 pounds a piece. We used overhead cranes to change those out.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I guess when I took the position, I came from automotive, something in batteries, like car batteries. Oh, was I wrong? I was like, they showed me the first one and it was just a little, like 24-volt one. And they're like, yeah, this is like our smallest battery. I'm like, oh.
It's freaking, yeah, they're the small ones are big, and you get some of the other ones. The ones we had were 76 volt for ours, and I've seen the smaller ones that were just, even those, they take up like pretty much the entire engine housing underneath the seat where you would have an engine, and they're not small by any means.
No, our smallest I think is just under or just over 2,000 pounds. I can't remember if it's 2,100 or if it's 1,800, but still, it's crush you. And then we do 48 volts. I have seen very few of them. I mainly do I'm mainly 36. That's a lot of our sit downs, and like the stand ups have 36, and those things are just huge. You're just like, and you got to push them in and out. I have to do them by hand, pushing them in and out. Well, not all the time, depending on the location. Some places we have a couple like 24-hour locations, and they have battery changers. So if I get lucky and go to one of those, it's easy. But for the other ones, see, I told you they were going to bark. Hey. For the other ones, I have to get like a pry bar or like a 2x4 or something and try to push it out, hoping the rollers actually roll and can get it out. Otherwise, I'll like half push it out, depending on what I'm doing with it. I'll half push it out one side, half push it out the other side, and work on half the battery at a time. But yeah, so I'm hoping my light duty gets lifted. They said they were going to talk to the doctor. It's their doctor, not my doctor.
Oh,
so yeah, they originally said 3 months, which that would be that's another month and a half still, I think. My 2 months is on the 15th or the 16th.
So just around the corner then. So
just around the corner. So yeah, they're going to talk to him tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Let's hope I remember how to do my job.
Yep.
It's been so I took a month off, and then so by the time I go back, it'll probably be 3 months. And then if they make me wait that other month, it'll be 4 months. And that sucks. So I'm hoping. But yeah, I'm just happy to be alive, pretty much. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to have a job, and I'm happy that they're working with me. Because at first they were like, so their doctor put the restrictions on me that I can't work alone. I can't drive forklifts. I can't drive my company vehicle. I can't work at heights, and I can't work more than 8 hours. So that's literally my whole job.
Yep.
So they originally told me they didn't have any work for me, and I missed being able to qualify for short-term disability by 3 days. So this happened all right before my 90 days, which really sucked. Which also really sucked because I waited so long to go to the doctor because I didn't have insurance. So that sucked, but it happened. And then once my boss and then his boss found out that I missed workman's comp, they were like, well, they were trying to fight for them just to give it to me because it was only a couple of days. But I get it. It wasn't 90 days. It's okay. So once they found that out, they were like, no, she's coming to the shop. She'll clean or something. So for the first month, I was working on the dock, helping the guy out, but I couldn't drive anything. I can do the walkies, the ones where you don't have to stand down or drive. The ones you just
push around.
Kind of. Yep. I can do those. And then I've been in parts the last 3 weeks picking. So
it's still a paycheck, so gonna write numbers down and do whatever. Like when I sprained my ankle, I did that for a full week, just inventoried everything in our maintenance department and did some minor welding. And, they just, so that way it was cheaper for the company as well. And I didn't miss any hours.
Yep.
Just light duty. It is
Yep.
what it is.
Yeah. I'm just going crazy. In a way, and in a way I'm not. In a way I'm kind of like, oh, this is nice. But then in another way, I'm like, I want to get back out on the road. The days go by so much faster when you're going from location to location. And, you go to one location to do a PM, you go to another to do a service call, and then you go to a third to do something else. It just makes the day go. Especially when my service area is so big, so it takes me 45 minutes to an hour to get in between customers. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the plan is to do batteries, then do trucks. I actually would like to get into welding. Right now as a battery tech, I burn. I don't know if it's not. I have a torch and I literally just burn cables in. But I would like to weld. I think that'd be cool.
Yep.
So that's my plan.
Well, like Matonia, the female mechanic, she just went to Harbor Freight and she bought herself like a little bitty buzz box or MIG welder or whatever to start on stuff on her own in her garage. I mean, that's a good way to start. So
yeah, I was thinking about that.
Stuff.
So I actually took a welding class. So I went to tech school for something completely different than forklifts or automotive. And we did like a basic welding class. And I wasn't good, but I wasn't horrible. I wasn't the worst one. So I think there's a local community college not too far from us. So I think I might try to learn a little bit more from them, see what they have, nighttime classes. But
yep. Yeah, there's plenty of those around where, you can take basically a several week welding course and they'll start you off on the basics and move you on up the line to, arc welding for pipes and whatever, depending on how far you want to go. So great way to get into that.
Yeah, I agree.
Another skill.
Yeah, and that's how I do it too. I mean, I don't necessarily need it for work. They do have a couple welders, but I think it would just be cool to learn. And if I ever needed it, I can do it. And if I don't, it could be a hobby. And that is very fine. I follow a couple welders on Instagram, and the stuff that they can do just blows my mind.
Yeah, there's welders out there that make me look like child's play, and I'm not too bad at it, but there's some really talented folks out there.
Yeah, and the ones that do like art with it,
yes,
it blows my mind. I'm like, you take these parts and you see a bird. I take these parts and I see scrap metal.
Yes,
and I'm just like, I'm not artistic. That's not me. I don't like it.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Do you have any more questions that I missed?
No, that's pretty much about it. So,
it's a life story of the Bearded CB.
Yep.
Kind of.
Cliff Notes version.
We'd be here all day if we did the other version.
It's a long day for that. So.
Yeah, it is Sunday. So.
Yes.
We might need a day of rest. So.
Yep.
So if you guys like this video, check out the Bearded CB at the BeardedSeaBee82. That's Instagram and YouTube, correct?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So BeardedSeaBee82. I'll link his page in one of the corners. And if you like me, Tech May, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until the next one. Bye.
Y'all take care.